probably share them on our YouTube channel so that we, other folks can see the types of projects MEM students are working on and the types of detail that is normally expected, and what standards we have, and also maybe to inspire them to do some projects of their own. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Arshiya and let her take it from here.
Yes, I'll share my screen.
Yep.
Can you see the presentation?
I certainly can. Thank you. Yeah, looks good.
Okay. So as I mentioned to you, I'm currently working with Education Walkthrough. Professor Mark, I think the recording hasn't started.
I think it's still recording.
It
Okay.
shows, at least on my side, that it's recording.
Okay, perfect. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Arshiya and I'm currently working as a product manager intern with Education Walkthrough, and I researched growth opportunities and how they can, grow their market size for Education Walkthrough. Yeah. So to give you an overview of what I had actually done, so I was exploring a lot of other opportunities of how they can grow, one of which was gamification. I'll give you a brief overview of what Education Walkthrough does. They currently work in the feedback process. So they help teachers give each other feedback during observations. The observations in these schools take place in two forms. So they can be formal or informal, overviews that they take place and Education Walkthrough currently focuses on informal observations. So their tool helps teachers give each other feedback while on the go. So they can record video feedback and things like that. So they provide a tool to do that. And as a part of my project, I researched on multiple areas of how they can grow their business, one of which was with gamification, one of which was with supporting other students who are currently pursuing professional degrees in education, and how they can, improve their learning process. So based on the cost benefit analysis of, just creating better features for teachers in K-12 schools, or providing or growing their app features for students currently in the professional degree programs, I focused on the students, and a few reasons for that are the cost benefit analysis, and then on the cost benefit analysis, when you focus on that, you see that universities spend a lot more money than schools on learning tools, right? So that is one of the reasons. The second reason is that with the waves of AI that is coming in, universities are very eager to provide the right kind of AI tools to their students to help them grow. So I believe they would be more accepting to tools like these in comparison to teachers in schools, because they already have a lot on their plate, and students are more welcoming and more eager to use AI tools for their benefit. So that is one of the reasons I focused on this direction. So I interviewed a lot of people, and one of my key personas is Ciara. She's a student here at Northwestern, and she's pursuing her master's in education. And she's also working as a teaching assistant at one of the elementary schools here in Evanston. One of the key problems that she faces while giving feedback is that she wants to give more feedback, but as the students in our class are all her friends, she restricts herself. And she always provides motivating things, even though that is what she does not normally feel, and wants to give more critical feedback, but she restricts herself. And a few things she also mentioned is that the two primary ways they share feedback is verbally or through Google Docs. And one of the major problems they face with Google Docs is having access. So if one teacher from one department is the owner of that Google Doc or that Google form, they have to go through multiple steps or communications to get that access, provide that feedback, which takes a lot of time from their hands. And then verbal feedback, which is done in groups of 3 or 4, the feedback is just heard and lost in her wordings. So those were, so I have listed down her needs and her fears. One of her fears is also that since people are so used to of sharing verbal feedback and written feedback, if there's an application that does so, it's going to be difficult for people to change to those means. My second primary persona here is Amanda. She studied at MIT, and her teaching journey started as a teaching assistant there. She then moved on to pursuing her assistantship, and and she did a professional certification in education. And during that time, she had to do an internship, pursue her master's degree as well, and she felt that she was overloaded with feedback from all areas. So from the place where she worked, from her professors in the college, and from her peers. Like during her time, she mentioned that one of the processes involved her telling the teachers where she worked as an intern to she had to mention that this is the area of focus I would be working on today. Let's say she would be focusing on her delivery today, and all of this was just her gut feeling telling her that this is what I should focus on. But she feels that had there been a dashboard where she could see her progress and things she'd been working on in the past, and who could tell her what things she could focus on, she would actually benefit from that. And she also felt that this bombardment of feedback, she could never consolidate that or work on it altogether. So those are her needs and fears that I have mentioned here in the slides. And she also mentioned that she would benefit from some data-driven insights, data that comes from these multiple areas of feedback. Coming to the market insights, I've collated them. And as you can see, that the education technology industry is a booming one and is expected to reach 500 billion, and is expected to be a $500 billion industry by 2026. And as I interviewed a lot of people and sent out surveys, our target audience feels that they would benefit from an application like this. And there are multiple competitors in the market that are already there that provide a same value proposition as education walkthrough. I've also, can you see the comparative table here, Professor Mark? Yes. So I've also done an in-depth analysis of the competitors of education walkthrough. I've actually compared their paid version, which is a $300 subscription fee for unlimited teacher profiles that can be created on the platform. And I've compared all of their existing functionalities with the competitors that exist in the market. And as you can see, most of them have very similar value proposition. So what we need to do is much more than what is actually being done. That is there. And then I have also listed down the unmet needs, like consolidated them, and like prioritize them on how, and then moved on, and then collated them into the jobs to be done. So based on my interviews, the customer insights and the market insights, I've consolidated the jobs to be done by our application into four buckets. That is, we need to create a platform that consolidates feedback, that gives actionable data insights, that gives us customizable rubrics and criteria, and a comprehensive progress overview. So these are the four jobs to be done that I believed education walkthrough should focus on. Based on that, I have put down features that they should, develop in their application to beat the competition in this market. The first, I believe, is seamless integration with the learning platforms that are already there in the universities. What do I mean by this? What do I mean by this is having an integration with the solutions that are already there, like Canvas. So I believe we can't fight the learning platforms that are already being used in universities. I'll give you an example. I'm currently using a software called Teachly to monitor class attendance and participation. And this is a software that is developed by Harvard students. And what they do is you just need to click on names, or faces to gather attendance and participation, and they have a seamless integration with Canvas, and all of the data gets gets uploaded to Canvas seamlessly. And that is one of the reasons that their software is being used so tremendously throughout universities apart from Harvard as well. So this collaboration is extremely would benefit education walkthrough. Uh, and then features like centralized dashboards, customizable feedback forms, actionable, and then moving on to actionable data insights. And creating an advanced analytical machine learning algorithms that can predict and give personalized improvement recommendations would benefit students and teachers as well. And all the features that I've listed would not just benefit students that are currently pursuing professional degree programs, they would also benefit their current market of K-12 teachers. What I've also done is, apart from suggesting features, I've made a roadmap as to what features we need to do first. That is the foundational integration that needs to be done based on data. This is going to create our moat and then move on to analytics based on this integration and the data we collect. After we have the analytics and data in place, we should move on to creating dashboards of where we can show the progress of students and teachers, where they can track their goals and see their customizable rubrics. This is a roadmap that I've bracketed into 3 phases of foundational integration, advanced analytics, and then enhanced feedback and progress tracking. Um, Moving on, this is the market size that education walkthrough would have once they develop these features. I've taken a few assumptions here that we have 4,700 universities currently in the United States, and I'm assuming that 1,000 students are pursuing a professional degree in education. This number might look a little high, but the reason I've taken this number is that these students include people who are pursuing a master's in education, bachelor's in education, and there are a lot of professional certifications that are also there. So to include that variance and that variability of those students, I've taken this number and have taken a minimal subscription fee of $100 per year per student. And I've taken this $100 because these students on average spend around $50,000 for their 4-year degree, or if it's a master's degree, they spend around $50,000 in 2 years as well. So I've taken a very minimal charge, that is $100 subscription fee, and based on those assumptions, the total addressable market is going to be 470 million, and our SOM is going to be 28.2 million. That is just 20% of the market. Um, Based on the features, my research and analysis, I've also listed down adoption barriers. I believe resistance to change is going to be the biggest adoption barrier for our company, as these, verbal or Google Docs or Google Forms have been used in this industry for a very, very long time. And switching to mobile applications to provide these feedback is going to be a difficult road to move on. And I believe features like voice to text and things like that could help smoothen this road for us. A few other adoption barriers are integration challenges, limited awareness and understanding. But I believe they can be worked upon. But resistance to change is going to be the biggest one. I've also listed down some risks and key dependencies. So the biggest key dependency for our company would be technology development. And if we are moving towards providing analytical and visualization tools, we need to hire a lot more people in the team, such as AI and ML engineers. And based on the size of the company and the current employees that we have, I think the technology development is going to be one of the key dependencies that we should focus on, and acquiring new talented people who can develop these features for us. Yeah. That's all from my end. And this is my presentation, and I have sent the, and I've uploaded the market research document on Canvas, where you can see an in-depth analysis of what I just presented.
Yeah, there is something called FERPA. So when you talk about regulatory compliance, you have to be compliant with something called FERPA.
Yes.
So any platform that deals with students is going to have to be compliant with FERPA. Overall, a very good presentation, very thorough. I thought you did very complete analysis. I think to pick a few nits, I guess I would start with your market sizing. So said 100 students, $100 per student per year. If you look at a school like Northwestern, maybe we have what, 20,000 students or thereabouts. So that's about $2 million per year. So the question would be, would Northwestern pay $2 million per year for a solution like this? And I think it would have been, I don't know, maybe you talk to people at Northwestern IT. I don't know what they are paying for some of these solutions. Are they paying 2 million for Canvas or more or less? Do you know?
I did not focus on pricing, and one of the reasons was also because Education Walkthrough has a dedicated sales team, and and they pitch different pricing based
Right.
on what the sales team talks with them. So I believe that they would be pursuing a similar approach with universities and putting down, specific pricing models for each university and the size of students that they're going to offer. So these were just a few assumptions that I took, but I believe you're right that $2 million is going to be a huge amount to pay. And I believe that the sales team would take this up on a different note.
Yeah, I think you'd have to probably figure out what their actual pricing model is and try to get a better sense of the TAM. Maybe universities aren't the only places willing to fund this. I think certain high schools, especially private high schools, I think you only focused on the US, right?
Yes.
So there's a much bigger market outside the US as well. Overall, though, I mean, if I'm just going to step back and look at this thing objectively, what we need in education is objective measures of feedback. And most of these are still mostly subjective in terms of being interpreted by observers who may or may not have a comprehensive view or may have some sort of predisposed notion of how a class should go. I think what's happening in many industries is and I'm glad Professor Zaretsky's online because he can confirm this, but we're going to IoT. And IoT in the classroom, in my mind, I hate to say this, is cameras. So imagine a series of cameras collecting data on every student in the class throughout the entire class session, 3 hours, right? Where are they engaged? Where are they disengaged? Who's wandering? Who's focused? Who's involved? Who's disinvolved? Who's leaving and getting up? Who's in the classroom and who isn't? All of that can be automated. All of that can be analyzed in a very detailed fashion, and then eventually AI and machine learning can be applied to determine, what is and what is not an engaging classroom lesson. I don't know, Professor Dave, what do you think? Or am I off in some sort of tangent here? Or maybe I can't hear him. You might be muted, but in any case, what do you guys think as students? Would that be intimidating to have classroom cameras? Would that be an invasion of privacy? Would that be ridiculous? Or is that the next logical step of where we're going?
I believe that yes, a lot of students might believe that it's an invasion to privacy. But I think we're already being recorded at most times when Zoom lectures are recorded. So I think it's a slippery road, but
Well, this session is being recorded, and the cameras, unless you've turned them off, those cameras are capturing images. So when we're online, I guess there might be a different threshold than when we're in person, different expectation of privacy. I guess I don't want to get you into some sort of tangent, but if you want to look at radical transformations of an industry, if you want objective measures of engagement and student satisfaction, if you want something that's repeatable and much more detailed that AI can really grab a hold of, I don't know of any other way to do it unless you've got some other solution, right? But what I think you've taken is more or less an incremental approach based on what's already out there.
yes.
And I think what's needed in the future is probably something more radical, but that's just my editorial, I guess, on the industry.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, but that could definitely be done. But what approach I took is just building upon the current value proposition that Education Walkthrough has. So they have a mobile application, and I just put out features that they can improve on incrementally through this mobile application. And I
Right.
believe once they have this, they have acquired market in universities, they can definitely move on to the solutions that you're suggesting.
Right. And I guess I would encourage you and all MEM students to not be afraid to bring these radical solutions. I know that most clients are looking for incremental because it's something they understand, it's something they've done before, something they can afford, something that's within their toolbox.
Yeah.
The problem is they could easily be obsoleted by competitors that already are thinking and working in terms of, leapfrog or radical transformations. And I'd hate to see good legacy companies go away simply because they had no idea of what, radical transformation could look like and what some of these transformative technologies can do. And I
Yes.
think as engineering managers, we can bring that to the party. We can bring this idea of this is the possibility that technology can bring. And the bottom line is, and this is a line that I use at Motorola all the time, if we don't do it, somebody else will. Right. Other than that, I thought you did a great job. So thank you. Well done.
Thank
I
you.
think we can go to Nachasri next as number 2. I have Perry as number 3 and Vidita as number 4. That was the sequence that I believe you guys logged in. So Nachasri,
Sure.
do you want to go?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Just give me a second.
What I could
I
do is
hope you can see my screen.
I'm going to stop recording.